Revo Rundown, Episode 5. Today we'll be talking about GPM aluminum shocks, Traxxas heatsink, and the Velcro body mod. GPM aluminum shocks. The stock GTR shocks on the Mini e-Revo perform very well if set up properly. The downside? They're mostly plastic. In my quest for the perfect shock setup, I found that the stock GTR shocks have to be serviced after every session. They just leak no matter what. The top and bottom caps won't hold tight enough to keep things sealed up. Having to take them apart a few times a week doesn't help either. I've wanted to get aluminum shocks for quite some time now, but they're really hard to come by these days. I finally got a set. I can't wait to see how they perform and hold up. I looked for reviews on them, but didn't really find any useful information. People would just show that, yep, they have GPM shocks installed, then they don't talk about them or anything. I'll show you how I'm going to set them up, install them, then in a future episode, I'll let you know how they perform. I started my quest for the perfect shock setup by using heavier weight shock oil. I went up to 90 weight plus a stiffer spring in the rear to help with sag. This, however, did not satisfy me. I was looking for a slightly stiff setup with fairly slow rebound, plus less rear end slap and sag. One day, while adding fluid to my differentials, it hit me. 50K diff fluid. It's super thick. Why don't I put some of this in my shocks? 50K diff fluid is so thick it was hard to get to the bottom side of the shock piston. What I ended up figuring out is empty the oil out of your shocks, put enough 90 weight shock oil to cover the piston and work the air out. Then fill almost full with 50K diff fluid, then add a little more 90 weight shock oil to the very top. Work the shaft up and down super slow to work out any air bubbles and let it sit for a few minutes. This setup proved to work very well. Probably go with about half 90 weight shock oil and half 50K diff fluid. Keep in mind, the stock GTR shocks are plastic and not made to handle this thick of oil. I actually had to glue the bottom shock caps on because the pressure was blowing them off. Eventually, the top caps started blowing off as well. Like I said earlier, I'll do a review on these GPM aluminum shocks in a future episode. Traxxas heatsink. I run with the throttle wide open quite a bit. I noticed the motor was getting almost too hot to touch. I got this Traxxas heatsink and installed it. I think it makes a pretty significant difference. I can run through 4 batteries in a row and the motor doesn't get smoldering hot anymore. Basically, the heatsink absorbs heat from the motor. As air flows through the fins of the heatsink, the heat is dispersed away from the motor. I think this thing was less than $10, so it's a pretty cheap upgrade and it looks pretty cool. I ended up not using the thermal paste it comes with. It didn't seem to make much difference and it's messy. Overall, it's less than $10, it looks cool, and it works. Velcro body mod. These tiny body pins on the Mini e-Revo are a pain to deal with, especially the pins on the back end. Good luck finding a body pin if you drop one. This Velcro mod saves time and frustration. Just get a roll of adhesive Velcro, apply it to your battery tray doors and the inside of your body. Make sure to clean the surfaces where the Velcro will stick. I would suggest using super glue for the Velcro on the battery tray doors. It'll last a lot longer. This mod makes RC life so much better. The Velcro makes removing the body take seconds instead of fumbling around with body pins trying to get them off and back on. This mod might not work for all RCs. That's it for this episode. Please hit the subscribe button and check out my channel for more fun videos.